Okay, so the next transformation that we're going to talk about is a reflection. And so if you have this as a PDF, this is what we did in class as the launch, is just try and take this figure right here and see if you can reflect it so that its mirror image is on this side of the line. So if you want to take a couple of minutes, and if you want to see if you can figure out how to draw the reflection, if you want to print this out on PDF, that's fine. Okay, so we talked in class about how the students completed the line reflection and how we can show that it's a line reflection. So one of the things that we talked about with how can we show that it's a line reflection is if we folded the paper in half and held it up to the light, if it's a true reflection, then what should happen is you should only be able to see one image, or one image and the other image should be right on top of each other. And then the relationship between the figure that you started with and the image that you drew is that it should be exactly the same. So it should be the same shape, the same height, the same width, everything the same, except it's just a mirror image. So if you think about like putting your hands together, like if you were going to clap or if you were going to pray or something like that, your thumb would line up with your thumb on each hand, and your left finger, your left pointer would line up with your right pointer, your middle finger on the left hand would match up with the middle finger on your right hand, and so on. So it would be exactly the same, except it's just a reverse image. Symmetric designs, you can make those by copying a figure to produce a balanced pattern. So this is what the figure should look like. So if you drew it correctly, this is what your reflection should look like down here, okay? So you may want to just either in your book or print off the PDF file, keep this so that you have this, because we'll need this here in just a little bit. Reflecting a figure is a transformation. A transformation just produces a copy in a new position. So we typically call this one over here the original, and we call this one over here the image. All right, so problem 2.1 says to copy the pentagon ABCDE and its image A prime. So when we go back here really quick, just so you can kind of see, if you notice there's like a little tick mark here by each one of these letters over here, and that's called, it's read A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, E prime, and that basically is just telling us that that is not the original, it is a copy of the original. So if you kind of think of this as being like the flash, you know, so after you take a flash, this is your original thing that you were taking a picture of, and after the flash, this is the picture that you get. So we're going to copy that pentagon, the original one, A, B, C, D, E, and its image A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, and E prime, and the line of reflection M, okay? So if you can print that out, it might be a little bit easier. But what you're supposed to do is draw segments connecting each vertex from the original to its image. So you're connecting A to A prime, B to B prime, and so on and so forth, okay? So if we go back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ruler on the Promethean board, and your measurements might be a little bit different, but we can still kind of see. And I'm going to use the millimeters version. So we can kind of see on here, we're just going to draw from A to A prime, okay? And then we're going to go from B to B prime. So from B to B prime. From C to C prime. From D to D prime. And E to B prime. So what you should end up with is something that looks similar to this here. And the D is hard to see, I realize, but we'll try and make the best of it. Okay, so that's 2.1, that's part A, so we've completed this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use tools for measuring angles and lengths. So what we use to measure angles, it's called a protractor. It looks like this. So if you have a protractor, this will be helpful in this book. But a protractor we use just to measure angles. hardly see mine, so I can make this a little bigger here. All right. Shrink it down just a little bit. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to see how the line of reflection is related to each segment you drew in part 1. So if we come back here, what they're asking is, how does this line that we drew right here relate to this line right here? And it's a little bit vague what they're asking, but if we were to put the bottom of the protractor, so in order to measure an angle, what you're doing is you're putting the center of your protractor right where those two lines meet. And you want to make sure that the bottom line of your protractor, if your protractor looks like mine, then you'll want to make sure that this straight line right here is right on the line of that you drew. If your protractor just has the bottom here, then just put the bottom of your protractor. But you want to make sure that the bottom of your protractor and the line right here where this line meet, that's where you put your line, where you put it on your line of reflection and your line. So my line right here is going to go right on top of this, and the other line is going to go right on my line of reflection. So what I'm noticing right here is that this line right here and my line of reflection create a 90-degree angle. And if I move it up a little bit, I can see that the same thing is true for this one. So this is the line that I drew, and here's my line of reflection, and again, that's a 90-degree angle. So we follow the line of reflection up, and that tells us wherever it lands on the protractor is where is the angle measure. Again, if we move this one up here, again, you can kind of see 90 degrees. And again here, 90 degrees, okay? So the relationship between the line segments that we've drawn here and the line of reflection is that it needs to be a 90-degree angle. So 90-degree angles. Okay. So we've done this one. Then describe the patterns in your measurements from part 2. So the other thing that we need to do is then, oops, this is not the one I want, sorry. And there we go. Okay, so if we take the ruler and we measure the distance from E to the line of reflection, if you can see, that's on my ruler at least. Yours is probably different because they're different scales. But mine goes from 0 to between 29 and 30. And if I were to take this and move it and measure from the line of reflection to E, you can see again that it's between 29 and 30 because my line is just a little bit off right here. So the distance from E to the line of reflection is the same as E prime to the line of reflection. And we can also kind of see that with C. So if we go from C to the line of reflection, that's about, what, 17 and a half? And so if we move it over and we measure the distance from the line of reflection to C prime, you can see again that that's about 17 and a half. So the distance from C to the line of reflection is the same as the line from C prime to the line of reflection. Again, same thing, we can look at B. Okay, so that's about 11 here. And move it over, that's about 11 here. So the distance from one point to the line of reflection has to be the same as the distance from the other point to the line of reflection. So from A to the line of reflection, is the same. Ooh, mine's doing some funny stuff. A prime to the line of reflection. All right, so, excuse me. The next thing that we did in class is we took the quadrilateral JKLM and we reflected it over this line. So I just gave them a piece of paper with this on it, and we okay, and so what we did is we took this and we reflected it over the line. In order to do that, I'm just going to show you really quick here. I'm not going to do it actually, and there will be another assignment later on that you'll have that will allow you to practice a little bit more. But in order to draw a perpendicular line, what you want to do is you want to put your protractor, you want to take this 90-degree line and you want to put it right on your line of reflection so that it matches up exactly. I can get into it here just a little bit. Okay, and then, so what that's going to do is that's going to create a perpendicular line. And so what we can do now is just from each one of these points here, you want to make sure that that 90-degree line is right on your angle or your line of reflection. And then from there, you're just going to draw a line straight across. And mine is not going to be exact because I can't use mine. Can't use this over a ruler. So I'll just do the best I can. So it would go straight out like this. And then we would move it to the next one. Make sure that that's on the line of reflection. And then you would go from line L all the way across here. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job, but you're just going to have to use your imagination. Okay? So from J, we're going to go all the way out this way. And from from M, again, we're going to put this right on our line of reflection. And M, we're just going to go straight out like this, perpendicular to the line of reflection. So now what we've done is we've drawn lines now that are all perpendicular to this line of reflection, which is one of the things that we need. So we need 90-degree angles where these lines and the line of reflection meet. So then the next thing that we need is we need to measure the distance between each point and the line of reflection. So you're just going to take your ruler and this thing drives me nuts. Okay, we'll see if we can get this here. I think that's close, pretty close. Okay, so along this line here, that's about 11 millimeters on mine anyway. So then we're going to take that and we're going to move it up to here, and we're just going to put a point right where that line should end. Okay. Whoops, right there. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing for L. So we'll measure the distance along this perpendicular line from the line of reflection to L. So that's about 28 millimeters. So we're going to slide this up about 28 millimeters out. Okay. And same thing for J. So this is about 8 millimeters. So slide this up, 8 millimeters. And the last one, we're going to go to M. We're about 27 millimeters. 27 millimeters, so about right here. And now you can see, it's kind of hard to see on here, but there's these 4 little dots. And so all you have to do now is just connect each one of these dots. And again, my lines are not straight, so I apologize. You just have to use your imagination. Okay? But if we were to take this figure and reflect it over, take this figure right here and reflect it over this line, it should match up. So this would be L prime up here. This one matches up with this, so this is K prime right here. This one matches with this one, so this is J prime right here, and this one matches with this one, so this is M prime right here. Okay, so where are we going here? On this one, what we would need to do is we're finding the line of symmetry now. So instead of actually drawing the reflection, what we're doing is we're looking for the line of symmetry. So we're kind of working backwards on this one. So what we would need to do now is just draw line segments between at least 2 of these points on here. So I'm just going to do the very top one. And then I'm going to do, whoops. And then I'm going to do the bottom one down here. And then we're we're just going to measure the distance between those 2 points. So this is about, on mine it's about 58, so that's 29 would be the halfway point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mark where the halfway point would be, which is 29 here. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing down here. So I'm going to measure the distance between these 2 points down here. And so that's about 28, so that's 14. So I'm going to put a mark at 14 where the halfway point would be. And then all we have to do now is just swing this ruler up. Maybe. So put one on this one and then one on this one. One in here. This is going to be much easier for you. There we go. All right, so now all we have to do is just take this right here and voila, there is our line of symmetry. Okay, so if you were to measure the distance from here to here and measure the distance from here to here, and same down here, here to here and here to here, you would see that those two are the same distance, and this line right here creates perpendicular lines. Perpendicular just means 90-degree angles, so these make 90-degree angles here and here with those two lines. With this triangle right here, it's basically the same as what we've done before, except this point right here is going to be reflected this way. So when you draw your line, okay, so if we take the protractor here, remember we want to do perpendicular lines, and we want to draw a line from each point. Okay, so I'm going to do D first, and remember I can't do perfect ones on mine. So we're just going to draw this across here, okay, and I'm going to move it down. Now, the reflection of D is going to be on this side of the line. The reflection of F is going to be on this side of the line, but the reflection of E is going to be on this side of the line of reflection. So when I draw my line for this one, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I draw that line this way, so that I know where my line of reflection, or where my point is going to end up. And same thing down here, so we'll do F. A lot easier to do this by hand. Okay, so we'll draw this line straight across here, and we'll pretend like it's straight and it's perpendicular and it's beautiful and everything is good. Okay, so the next thing that we'll need to do then is just flip this ruler up here. There we go. All right, so we're going to measure from D to the line of reflection, which on mine is about 46. So then we're going to slide this over, and we're going to go to about 46 over here. Oh, am I going to make it? Just barely. So we're going to put a little mark at 46. Okay? And then when we measure E, so we're going to measure from E to the line of reflection. That's about 13. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So about 13. So we're going to put another point right there. And then we're going to do F. So F is about 42. So we're going to slide this over so we get to about 42 over here. I'm going to put our dot right there where it should be. And now we've got these 3 blue dots that we're going to connect. So there's one right here. There's one right here. And now these two. Pretend like that was perfect. So now if you were to fold the paper in half along this line, this would be D prime, this would be F prime, and this would be E prime. All right. These are just the summaries of these. So the homework that we did is actually, hold on, not there. We didn't do any of the ones from the book in this one, I believe. I'll have to look up the homework and make sure that we have it. If you have any questions, I'll just post that on the website so that it's there. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully everything's going well, and we'll see you soon.